I didn't think I was going to do this again, but a lot of you have convinced me that we should do it once more, and I fell right exactly into your trap, so you won. Mono Quantum is the most free-to-play friendly composition in the game. First of all, we'll go over exactly why as the reasons I have presented on the screen, and we'll go over each individual character, explaining their best selling points in the composition and how good they are outside of the comp as well. First of all, we have Seal. This is the character for most people that is going to be your main damage dealer in the team. If you played since day one, you have this character most likely, and she'll be your main damage dealer in the Mono Quantum team comp. Now, before we do get into the rest of the characters, I want to preface and say every single character in this comp will be doing damage as well. So don't just think that the only damage dealer is going to be your main damage. That's why I said main damage dealer, right? Because every character in this team will be doing damage as well. Now, depending on whether or not you are free to play or you are joining after Seal's banner, and maybe she's not around, maybe she doesn't have a rerun banner at that point in time, then you'll have QQ, and this will be your main damage dealer in the Mono Quantum team comp, right? QQ is really good. Just like Seal, she has pseudo AoE damage. She has the main damage hitting the main target with her ability, and then she hits adjacent enemies. So she's very good for many players in general compositions where you need slight AoE, right? Blast, they call it in this game. So yeah, she's going to be the main damage dealer if you do not have Seal. Silverwolf is the character that makes this all come together. If you don't have Silverwolf, then you cannot, unfortunately, play the Mono Quantum team comp. I'd go as far as say you can't have any Mono comp if you don't have Silverwolf. So you definitely need Bronya Jr. This is the most broken character in the game by far. But yeah, we'll talk especially about her when we get into these selling points here. Fu Xuan is going to be your defensive option. This is the character that is upcoming. I really do suggest, if you don't have very many defensive characters, many 5-star defensive characters, I really do suggest you either investing in getting Fu Xuan, or maybe if you get links along the way and a couple copies of her, then to just use your links that you get as well. But Fu Xuan is going to be a really good character outside of the Mono Quantum team, but especially really good in that Mono Quantum team. Lynx is another defensive option character. Now, this character is most likely going to be extremely valuable outside of Mono Quantum, but still a very good character to use in the Mono Quantum just to have that 4 quantum character requirement in the team. Now, this is assuming we don't ever get a Harmony Quantum character in the future. If we ever do get a Harmony Quantum character, then Lynx will be the first character to be replaced, right? Because, first of all, a Harmony Quantum character means you'll have more damage on your team, and that also means, get this, you can abuse the Planetary Rendezvous set on your Harmony character. So that means you'll give a 24% at max levels, right? Max refinements, 24% quantum damage bonus to the whole team. That is extremely valuable, right? So whenever we get that character, then Lynx will be replaced. Individually strong is our first selling point here. Every single character here is a very strong character outside of Mono Quantum, right? Seal, very amazing main damage dealer, right? If you have this character, you literally destroy all contests in the game, even though in Baby to the Night, which we'll have a video of this later in the future, don't worry, we'll talk about this more. And Baby to the Night has made Seal look a little less appealing because he does more raw damage, but Seal is still a very, very strong damage dealer, right? And she's a part of one of the best elements, which is another selling point on here, right? One of the best elements in the game. So never think that this character will ever be not good. She will always be good because she is literally not doomed to fail whatsoever. Strongest single target damage dealer. Now, QQ is an amazing free-to-play character you get of the quantum element, right? I think Hoyoverse honestly giving us this character is amazing. Now, when we first started the game, QQ was honestly probably the worst character to have on your account. But now she is one of the best characters to have, and especially with the release of Fu Xuan, she'll be even better. Now, this character is very good outside of the Mono Quantum team. You can use her in hyper carry teams. A lot of people have been using her with a character like Bronya, right? The traditional hyper carry setup, Bronya Tingyun, Bronya Yukong, stuff like that, right? You obviously want to use her with characters that will give more skill points. It's like Luocha, for instance, is a very nice abundance or defensive option character to use alongside QQ, but Jetpart is pretty good as well, right? Because QQ has a fairly low base speed compared to Seal. That's very important, right? Now, when you get Eidolons for this character, she becomes a monster, right? We're talking like from E0 to E6 is a whole different character. Now, if you do end up having an E0 QQ, and we'll talk about this right here. If you have an E0 QQ and you have a Seal on your same team, right, and you want to use Mono Quantum, I really don't suggest you using these two characters together, because if you have a QQ that does not have Eidolons, she's going to be eating up a lot of skill points alongside your Seal, who would also be eating up a lot of skill points. So I do suggest that you do not use QQ in the same party monoquantum team comp, right? With Seal if you do not have eidolons for the character. Now, Silverwolf, the character that makes this all come together, right? She is undisputably the most broken character in the game. She fundamentally changes the way you play the game, right? Let that sink in. We made tons of videos on this. She fundamentally changes the way you play the game. If you have this character, you literally ignore how Hoyoverse designed their game. For you to bring elements that the enemy is weak to, you literally have this character, you take an element from your team, throw that element on the enemy, and now that enemy is weak to the element you brought that he wasn't weak to already. That is so broken. And she lowers the defenses and the resistances and the attack and the speed and the defense more. This is a very strong, very broken character. She has very good damage, right? Very good single target damage, very skill point positive. If you don't have this character, consider getting her in a rerun, okay? But yeah, if you don't have Silverwolf, then she is the character that would unfortunately not, for you, not make the monoquantum team comp work because you don't have the character. So you need this character to make this team comp come together. Now, Fushuan is the defensive character, right? With the release of Fushuan, you'll finally have the defensive character you need to make the monoquantum team comp. We did make videos in the past saying that Lynx may be a character that may just be the defensive option that you can use instead of using Fushuan. But depending on how hard enemies hit, of course, in Memories of Chaos, or with the new, Simulate Universe Swarm disaster, you probably won't be able to utilize Lynx as well in that comp and that in-game game mode, right? Because those enemies hit extremely hard. So a character like Fushuan is very appealing because she mitigates tons of damage from the team. Now we'll go over in the characters later in the video, but she mitigates all the damage that is received by the allies, and then she soaks the damage. So she's pretty much a meat shield. She turns all of your allies, okay? She turns all of your allies into pseudo tanks, like Bailu's Invigoration, making them more tanky than they once were. So she's a very nice abundance hybrid character, right? That's why she is undisputably, alongside Luocha, competing for the best defensive option character in the game. Very skill point positive too, and provides many buffs to your allies. So this is a character, if you have QQ or Seal, Silverwolf as well, you do not want to skip her. This is a must pull, right? Must pull if you have these characters. Lynx is a character that is very good in monoquantum, but she's probably extremely better outside of monoquantum because of the buffs she provides. She's going to be really good for characters that have naturally high taunt values, that want to have an even higher taunt value. For instance, like Clara, right? Clara would love a character like Lynx, increasing the taunt value of the character, making it to where Clara gets hit constantly. Lynx really good for a character like Blade, right? Allowing him to be hit more so that he has more charges towards his counterattack, right? Or counterattack, follow-up attack, excuse me, not counter, follow-up attack. It's not like Clara, is different. And that will be really good for the character, increase the HP as well. So Lynx is a very good character for characters like Blade, but in monoquantum, she's a very nice healer and cleanser, right? Traditional defensive option character. Now, this is very resin efficient. Every character here is very good because you only need to farm one domain, right? The only domain you need to spend your resin on for relics is going to Trailblaze Power, excuse me. I played too much Genshin Impact. Trailblaze Power is the quantum domain, right? The quantum set. I forgot the name. Genius something. That set. Use your resin with this team comp in that domain only because it lowers your gear requirements, okay? You deal tons of more damage, right? Because you ignore the defense. You have quantum damage bonus. Every character here deals quantum damage. You take advantage of Silverwolf being able to put that quantum weakness on enemy. So you have 100% uptime on the 4-piece effect. And any piece of gear that you get for Seal, right? That maybe it bricks into HP percent. You can throw that gear on your Fushuan, right? You get a piece of gear on Seal, it rolls speed. You can throw that piece of gear on your Fushuan or Lynx, maybe even Silverwolf, right? Depending on what other substats it has on it, and so on and so forth. Every single character here will take advantage of relics that the other characters wouldn't be able to. Silverwolf, effect hit rate. Any other character here that doesn't want effect hit rate, Silverwolf will take it. Strongest relic set, which is the quantum damage bonus, we set that, and the planar set. The newest planar set that was added to Honkai Star, right? 1.3, 1.2, 1.3. Guys, my brain is rotted. 1.3, I believe. The set where you increase your effect resistance is very valuable because a character like Fushuan wants to increase her own effect resistance, so she's not stunned as much, not debuffed as much, and she will give more crit damage to the allies. Remember, every single character, Fushuan herself, deals a nice bit of damage alongside your main damage dealers in the team comp. So keep that in mind. The crit damage bonus is very valuable. but the effect of resistance is very good for a defensive option character like Fu Xuan that doesn't really want to be CC'd. And the other planar set, the one that increases your basic attack and your elemental skill damage by 20%, is very good for a character like Silver Wolf, who will be built as a damage dealer alongside, of course, you want her to have effect, hit rate, and speed, but she'll be built as a damage dealer, sub DPS primarily. And then QQ will be dealing most of her damage with her enhanced basic attacks. So you take full advantage of that planar set, right? And then Seal, of course, deals tons of damage with her elemental skill and basic attack. So just like QQ, she will take advantage of that planar set as well. So you only have to farm one planar set and one relic set. So that pretty much means you have the most resin efficient team in the game. Lower gear requirements. One of the coolest things about Mono Quantum is that you put the quantum element on the enemy at all times. So every single character here takes advantage of the weakness break effect in the game. So the quantum weakness break effect, which I should have on the screen right now, allows you to delay the enemy's action. You deal quantum damage, and every time you hit that enemy before that enemy takes their turn, will increase the amount of damage the enemy takes whenever they take their turn from that quantum weakness break effect, right? So that means you can build a Silver Wolf with just break effect, no crit stats. Your Seal, your QQ can take advantage of break effect because Silver Wolf will apply the quantum to the enemy. So you'll have more chances of getting that weakness break on the enemy, therefore dealing large amounts of damage, delaying the enemy's action. So you take less damage, right? That means Fu Xuan will be a character that solidifies herself even more as a defensive option because she won't be hit all the time as you might think from the boss because the enemy will have his action delayed. So it's very good. It lowers your gear requirements because you deal more damage overall. And you take advantage of one of the strongest weakness break effects in the game. Strongest element alongside the imaginary course, right? The two, of course, right? Light and dark, the two undisputably strongest elements in the game. Their weakness break effects are way too strong. Imaginary, right? Delaying the enemy's action and lowering the speed means you're able to get in more hits. So a character like Welt is extremely like the premier character with imaginary, right? Very good with that weakness break effect. Very auto-friendly. If I get this team here, assuming you're QQ, and we ever get a character that gives skill points to the team, this will solidify this point even more. But if you have QQ, right, and you have auto ones on the character, this is the most auto-friendly team ever. You can grab the team, put into auto. Silver Wolf will have 100% chance of applying that quantum weakness to the enemy, so you don't have to worry about Silver Wolf using her elemental skill more than once, right? Because the enemy will already have quantum weakness. So then she'll chuck her basic attacks and then her ultimate whenever she gets it. Fu Xuan applying her elemental skill, right? The buffs are dependent on her own turn. Remember that? So that means Fu Xuan after will be using her basic attacks and not using up many skill points. QQ will use the skill points she needs to use up in order to get her enhanced basic attack, right? Very important. So she'll have all the skill points she needs to work with. And then Lynx will be a character that won't be healing unless your allies need healing. And if you have a team with Fu Xuan, you probably will never use skill points on Lynx. Just keep that in mind. And then Seal is going to use her elemental skill, of course, whenever she has access to her turn. So she will be soaking up all the skill points alongside QQ. So that means this team, the main damage dealers, will have all the skill points they need in order to deal the most damage possible. So if I have to be completely honest here, as assuming, because normally what happens is Silver Wolf applies her ultimate before a character like Seal goes and uses her ultimate, that means this team will be just as reliable as if you were doing it manually. It's very, very important, right? We don't have any other team in the game right now that acts like that. So I think for many players, it's a very nice change because that means you can multitask, right? I mean, I pretty much do that now. I play on a couple of accounts, so I'm able to do more things if I had access to a composition like this. Okay, I'm not going to lie. My brain has rotted after that very long presentation from yours truly, Teacher Toshi. I definitely need to go take a shower now and watch some anime to unrot my brain. Although rent a girlfriend will probably rot my brain even more. But anyways, I have an announcement to make. I will be, on the release of Fu Xuan, making a brand new account to prove to you that Mono Quantum is the most free-to-play friendly composition in the game. Now, Kafka, I said before previously, was the most free-to-play friendly character. But now that we have a full-blown team that is free-to-play friendly, this is a no-brainer for me to help anyone that wants to have a comp and try to clear as much content as they can early on reliably. And on top of that, have a comp that should be valuable for the longest time, right? It shouldn't be power crept anytime soon. And on top of that, prove something that I've been advocating for a while now, and that is mono quantum being as strong as it really is. I have to, of course, prove it to you guys, and I will be doing that with this new series. Now, I don't know if it's going to be on this main channel or if I'm going to do a side channel and have these series on that channel. We'll have to wait and see, of course, whatever I decide to do. But I'll let you all know in due time whenever Fushuan banners arrive. Now, that's going to be the video here. Hopefully, you got something out of this. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. I probably won't do a Microsoft playing session again because it drains a lot out of me in terms of talking right now. My throat is pretty sore. But that's it. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.